Hey guys, Rick at Raleigh Sport Direct here. Today I want to talk to you guys about spoilers. I'm not talking about Game of Thrones spoilers, I'm talking about the spoiler that comes on your car. This BRZ Limited here behind me comes with a factory spoiler, which is fantastic, but how can we make that more efficient and how can we get a little bit more downforce out of this car? And there's a quick answer to that, and that is with a gurney flap. Now this is the PERRIN Gurney Flap specific for the BRZ and FRS with the factory spoiler on it. All aluminum construction, nice black finish, and has a cool little PERRIN logo on it. Now I really want to explain to you guys how spoilers work, so let me show you. Pretend, if you will, you're an air molecule. Now you and your buddies are all flowing down the back of this windshield, you guys are cruising along about 80 miles an hour. You come to about this point, you're gonna hit this little lip. You and your friends are gonna hit that, you're gonna bunch up and you're gonna create a high pressure stagnant zone. You and your friends are just gonna be hanging out here. All of your other buddies are now going to be able to come down and flow over you very nicely. Now, if you didn't have a spoiler on the car, you're gonna have no spoiling effect, and that's what a spoiler is. It spoils the airflow in front of itself. Now, if you don't have a spoiler, you and your friends are just gonna swing right along and you're gonna have low pressure, high speed, which actually creates lift. So the factory spoiler works fairly well at spoiling the airflow in front of it and creating a little bit of downforce, well, I should say a reduction of lift. Now, to improve on that, you're gonna add a gurney flap. Now pretend my hand is the gurney flap. You're gonna add an even higher pressure area, higher area in which you and your buddies are going to gather up here and create an even higher pressure zone, therefore creating more downforce or less lift. And then you can also get into separation boundaries. It actually creates the separation further up, which is more beneficial because then you have less drag on the backside of the car. But I'm kind of dumbing it down, and I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that are a lot smarter than me. They're like, no, you're wrong, it's whatever. But that's the basics of it, is we're creating more downforce or less lift by creating a higher pressure zone here, thereby allowing air to go smoothly over it and allowing the air to separate from itself further up, on the car itself. So anyway, enough talking. Let's just get this thing installed. All right, first thing we're gonna wanna do is tape the backside of the spoiler, mainly just to protect the paint, and it should also highlight these little flat spots here on the spoiler. So let's just go ahead and do that. All right, so the next thing we're gonna wanna do is measure and mark. Basically, we're trying to find dead center here on the back. It can be a little bit tricky, so just take your time. And then I also put some tape here just to protect the paint from this measuring. And this is also really helpful if you have a buddy, mainly because it'll pop out on you a few times. So you, again, just be patient. It might actually work for me if I do this right. There we go. I just need a few extra hands apparently. And then what you'll do is you'll do that exact same thing for the other side, and those marks should line up perfectly. And looks like they do. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do is find the point 1/2 inch down from that flat line there. And you probably can't pick it up very well in the camera, so I marked it. And you'll just wanna make sure you're 1/2 inch down, and we're just gonna double check our measurements. And that's about spot on. So again, with anything, always double check your measurements before you first drill. So our next step is to drill a pilot hole. First, we're gonna start with a 1/8 drill bit before we move up to the 25/64 inch drill bit. So we found center, and then we found 1/2 inch down from the flat spot. So drill your first hole, just go slow and be patient. All right, now we got our pilot hole drilled, and then we're gonna move up to our big drill bit. And again, just go nice and slow. Take your time. So next step is to pop in the riv nuts. So this riv nut you can see here, I've got the riv nut, the supplied bolt, the washer, and then this tool. And I've actually greased up the threads on here, greased up the head just to allow it for a little bit easier installation. Got our trusty 10mm here. Basically the idea is put it in, And as you're tightening it down, it's gonna be real tough the first few turns because you're basically expanding or compressing that riv nut. But just go nice and slow, and then you're gonna wanna push in as you're inserting that riv nut in there. All right, with our rivet in place, next step is going to be to put the wing physically on the car. And we're just gonna use the supplied hardware to do that. And basically what we're gonna try to do is, with the help of a friend, we're gonna line these up as we bend it over, and we're gonna create 2 new markings here. And then we're gonna do the same thing, drill, and put another rivet nut in, and then keep on moving on down the line. So we've just installed the PERRIN Gurney Flap on this beautiful BRZ. Installation wasn't too bad. PERRIN says it'll take about an hour. Probably I'd give yourself about an hour and a half, and definitely have a buddy there to help you out. You basically start in the middle, work your way out. Each time, putting it on, marking the new hole, taking it off, putting it back on, marking the new hole, taking it back off. So it does take a little bit of time to install it. But overall, I think we did a really good job on this. It's not 100% perfect. I probably could have done a little bit better job. It might have been from the drill bit slipping just a bit on that, but I think it just looks gorgeous on there, and it's incredibly secure. And hopefully he should be able to feel it when he drives his car out at the track, or even just, cruising around at high speeds, I guess, if he wants to do that. Also, if you guys like my t-shirt, this is one of the new designs that we've come out with, and you can check it out, we'll say here on our website. We actually have a bunch of new designs on there. But I can talk all day about this, but I'm gonna let the B-roll footage kind of speak for itself. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.